All right, good morning guys. So today we are going to go over a little bit of our CNC plasma table. It's a Lincoln Electric 4400 table. This is a little bit smaller version than what most shops would have, but it does the exact same thing as most fabrication shops. So today we're going to go over just a small project, how to set it up and how to make our cuts by controlling everything that we're doing here and paying attention to what we're looking at on our screen for the computer programming section of this. So today we're going to go over a little bit of how to set it up, where to make your lines, double checking all your sets before you make your cut. The biggest thing is make sure that you have your pieces lined up, that you're maximizing the material that you're using, and all your measurements are correct before you make the final cut. So we're going to go over that today. We'll show you how to set up the computer to do your cuts. We'll go over the machine itself as it's doing its cut as well. And we will check everything to make sure that the process is right. And so we'll go ahead and get started on that. And here we go. Okay guys, so here we go. So a little bit of the programming and setup. So on the first thing that we're going to look at is our Torchmate EDU master program. So today we're going to kind of work on a rectangle shaped, and we're going to add 4 lines and 3 circles into it to create a bracket. So first thing we're going to do is start off, we're going to look over on the left hand column. Here you can see where my mouse is, and it gives us different options of tools that we can use. At the top here it gives us our size of width and height. So what we're working with today is roughly 8 inches by 21 inches. So I'm going to come over here to my shapes designs, click on there, click on my square box. I'm going to bring that over, I'm going to left click down and draw out a rough shaped rectangle, which you can visually see here that's in red. Now I know my sizing, so I need to make sure that the size is correct. I'm going to come right up to the top here and change my size. So we're going to go ahead and make that 8 inches wide and 21 inches long. So here's our shape that we're going to be working with today. Now with part of that shape we need to bring it down roughly 6 inches to create a line for a break point that we can bend on the top and on the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and create 2 lines coming across here for a breaking point to be able to bend this. Again, we're going to go back over to our tool selection. We do have a small pencil line here. We're going to go ahead and click on our pencil line. We can come out here and we can create 2 nodes. That gives us our line marking. We're going to go ahead and hit apply on there, and now we have our line that comes across. Now, instead of going back to our pencil mark again, we can actually just do a copy and paste and duplicate this line. So we'll just kind of do Control D and it duplicates our line, so our second one is added here. Now if we look at our lines here, roughly this is going to be in inches, and we know we have roughly 6 inches that we need to bring down. So you can do it one of 2 ways. You can take the time and we can go through and actually mark everything here and figure out exactly where it needs to go, which is pretty easy. Or we can bring it down through here by just counting each individual 1-inch square. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and highlight the entire piece. We're going to go ahead and take our X and Y and we're going to zero out our work down to the bottom corner. It's a little bit easier to work with. So again, we are 8 inches wide, 21 inches long. We have our 2 lines where it's going to be our breaking point to where we're going to have our bends. So if I want to look at this one right now, it's showing me that I am 4.85 inches above the bottom, and I need to be at 6. So I can go ahead and adjust that at 6 and relocate the line on the Y. Our other line here, we can also make that adjustment as well. So if we know we have 6 inches here and we've got 21 up here, we can make that adjustment and move this line as well to create the exact same section. At this point, we're going to go ahead and leave our lines. We're going to zoom back in here. We know we need to add 3 different circles in here for our different sizes that we're going to be running some leg bolts through here, and also we're going to run a piece of iron through the bottom side to stick into the ground. So we'll come back over to the left side of our screen to our tool selection. We're going to go ahead and select our tools. We're going to create a circle. We're going to bring our circle out here. And at this point, we're not looking for an exact size. We just want to have our circle that's created. We're going to go ahead and duplicate it 3 times or 2 more times so we have that. We know we want 1 in the bottom, 1 at the very top, and 1 in the middle. Now each one of these is going to be a little bit different in size. Our very top and very bottom one, we're going to set those for 1/2 inch. Our center one, we're going to set it for 3/4 of an inch. So we're going to go ahead and click on our circle. Make sure our little lock piece right here is locked so our circle actually remains as a circle, and change our size. And we're going to go ahead and set that for 0.50, and you can see on top and bottom it remained the exact same size as a complete circle. Our top one here, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing, 0.50. And we have both of those. Our center one here, we're going to set up for 3/4 of an inch, so 0.75. And our top and bottom for X and Y is at 0.75. So now all 3 holes we have set up. Now we know our material is 8 by 21, and we need to find the exact center of where this hole is going to be for the larger one. Nice thing is over here on the side, it gives us options of being able to move around, which is our anchor points, so we can change where that's going to be. So our X, we're going to go ahead and change that to 4.0. That moves our circle here over into the center. We know we have 21 inches here, so if we take the 21 inches and we need 10.5, so we're going to go ahead and change that from 10.25 to 10.5. Now our center circle is preset right here. And we're going to do the same with our smaller holes as well. So on these sections here, we're just going to go ahead and change those. We know center is 4.0. And the bottom one here, we're going to go ahead and set for 4.0. And those are our center points there. Now from the bottom to the top line here, we know it's 6 inches. So we're going to go ahead and set that for 3. That puts our circle dead center of the square that we're going to create. Our top one here, we know we have to adjust that up as well. So we're going to go ahead and set that one at 18.25, and that's going to give us our center point for the top. So a couple of the other things that we're going to add on here as well. So we're going to put roughly 45-degree angles on the top corners and on the bottom corners. So we're going to go ahead and work on those next. So again, we're going to go back to our tool selection here on the left-hand side. We're going to click our pencil, create our straight lines, and we're roughly going to set those about 2 inches in, top and bottom, and create our line. Right now I'm working on the bottom left-hand corner. So we got our line created here. Again, we're going to go back up to our pencil, and we're going to do the process again. Create another line. Oops. Create another line. Now see here, I made a little bit of a mistake. Created too many lines. So I'm going to go ahead and reopen that back up by double clicking on it. I'm going to click this node here on the end that's highlighted in red, and I can actually just delete that line. And then we'll go ahead and hit apply. We got 2 more that we're going to go ahead and create. So I'm going to go ahead and get those done really quick. So right hand top corner, working on that section there. We'll hit apply. Back to our pencil. I'm going to create it one more time. And apply. So these upper corners here are going to cut out at 45s. The bottom corners are going to cut at 45s. We've got our center hole that's going to cut out. We've got our line break point that we're going to cut. Our center hole for our post that's going into the ground. Our line here that's going to cut at 6 inches for our break point as well, so it's easy to bend. and then our other hole here at top where we're going to run the lag bolts through into our wood pieces that we're building the brackets for. Hope you guys are sticking up and hanging out, and we're going to go ahead and keep moving on here. Okay, so here we go. So on this part here, we're going to go ahead and make sure that our lines are set up. Everything that we're using is going to be cut. So what we're doing here is we're going to make sure to use our toolbar on the left-hand side and our upper bars on the top to make sure that everything is arranged and set into place. So right now I have things set up that our range for our tool path cut is going to be cutting on the inside, which is considered a female pass. So it's going to start on the inside, come to the outside, and work around. On our straight lines here, it's going to pick one of the sides to start on and create that line cut there. So we're going to go ahead and highlight all of our pieces. Go to Machine, double check to make sure our tool path is being created, which is set already on a female tool path. Now we can go in and say we need to make changes. We can delete our tool path so we can change that out. So what we're going to do is go in and change our pathing. So you can see here things have modified and changed, and we need to eliminate those. So we're going to go back up to Arrange, break our path, and we're going to go ahead and lose that second tool pathing that was created. So as you guys see here, we're back down to one single tool path. It's highlighted. We're going to go back to Arrange, Connect Tool Path. We're going to go ahead and hit OK. So now all of our pieces are connected together. So if I click on one piece, it takes all of our pieces and puts them together. We're going to go back up to Machine. We're going to go down to Create a Tool Path, Female, OK. And now our lines are going to start on the inside of our circle, go to the outside, and make that cut. So again, we're not going to have a tool line cut on the outside of our finished product. Once we have this created and we're happy with that, we're going to go up to our toolbar on the left-hand side. We're going to click onto our scissors. We're going to double check, make sure we have all of our pathing here that we're looking for. We're going to click on our scissors again. We're going to make sure that what drive we're saving it to is the correct drive. So every time you guys need to make sure that we're looking at this drive. So it's going to be under Google Drive, File Stream G. It's under My Drives, Torchmate Design, and this program is under My Program. So we're going to go ahead and save parts. We're going to go down into our cutting system program. Now this program here, don't let it overwhelm you guys. It is a very simple process to run. First thing we're going to do is go up and select our job. We need to go down to Browse. Again, we're going to check here. It's under My Program, but we can go through here, Google Drive, File Stream G, My Drive, Torchmate Designs, and this one's under My Drive. So since I already have mine open, we're good to go. Now I'm just going to go ahead and look for the project that we're working on. And go ahead and click on that, and we're going to open that project. Now this project comes into the screen here. One of the things that we have to do is go ahead and readjust our plasma table to a 0 point. So we have to set our program 0. So with our positive Y, negative X, and positive X, we can go ahead and move our machine around. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. I like to bring the negative Z down a little bit closer to the material as we're working, so I can set my 0 point a little bit easier. I'm going to go over a negative X, bring it to the far left side of the material, negative Y to bring it down towards the bottom. And what I'm looking for is just right at the end of the corner of the bottom left side. So if you guys are looking, what we're trying to accomplish is our point here is going to match the point of our base material on the bottom left-hand corner. So we're just going to kind of come over, we're going to eyeball right in this section here, and what we're looking for is bottom left corner, and we're going to make sure that that's set there. We'll come back to our main computer screen, and right up here towards the center on the right hand side it says set program 0. We're going to go ahead and set program 0. Now here you guys see that the project's lost. So what we can do is zoom to machine, or we can zoom to the job. So it brings it in a little bit closer. The one nice thing about what I have set up here is this is a touch screen, so we can actually bring that in and zoom in a little bit closer to the project. So you guys can see our project that we're going to work on is right here. We've got our holes and we've got our lines. And we're going to go ahead and do a dry run on this project before we actually do our cut. So right hand side it says active run, and we're going to change that to a dry run. We already have our program 0 set. We're going to go ahead and hit run job. What we're looking for right now is, one, that our job is going to completely run. Two, that we're looking for that our markings that we have are going to be set right. So we're looking to see to make sure that everything is right. Nothing's going to go off the platform or of our material. And the job is going to complete 100% before we actually do our cut. All right, looks like we have one more circle to cut and the job's going to be complete. As soon as that section is done, then we're going to go ahead and change this back over to an active cut. And we're going to go ahead and start our project. So at this point, what we're looking for is active cut. We have our program 0 set. If for any reason the machine gets moved, we can always go back to program 0. Our feed rate depends on how fast we want our material to cut. Now, if we cut too slow of a speed, it's going to leave a lot of material on the back side of our finished product. If we cut too fast, it may miss a section and not cut all the way through. So depending on the thickness of your material is how much of a feed rate or speed that you want to have the machine cut. With the thickness of material that we're running today, we roughly know 50 to about 60% seems to work the best. So we're going to go ahead and have that set right there. So when we're all ready, we know the machine's set at our program 0. We're going to go ahead and do an active run where this is going to cut the material and complete the job. So we're going to go ahead and hit active run, make sure it's there, and we're going to start on run job. Now, while this is working on its way down, again, you guys want to make sure that you have a face shield on that's tinted. You do not want to look directly at the arc. This produces the ultraviolet lights, just like if you were welding or gas welding or using the handheld plasma torch. So you want to make sure that your eyes are protected. Okay, so it looks like we have about 2 more lines to cut and 1 more circle. All right, now we went ahead and created all of our lines and our circle cut that we needed to have on this one, but we did make a couple changes and we added a few more lines to it. And so we're going to go ahead and go back up to select job, browse. We're going to look for the changes that we've made, so we're going to go ahead and bring that down and look for our changes. We're going to go ahead and open up our new program for changes, and what we're doing is we added in a couple lines on each corner to simulate a 45-degree angle, kind of give it a little bit different look to the material when it's finished. So we're going to go back to a dry run. We're going to go ahead and run this on a dry run to make sure that our lines are going to match with our part that we're going to cut. So when our finished product is complete, we know it's all going to work. So go ahead and we'll do a dry run really quick, and then we'll go ahead and make our active run and cut our lines. So give it just a few minutes here, and we'll go through our dry run, and then we'll do our active. All right, so it looks like our dry run's complete. Looks like everything's going to be on a go. So we're going to go ahead and change this back over to an active run, and we're going to go ahead and run the job. Again, since we are going to be cutting, make sure that you guys have your safety glasses on, a face shield that's tinted, so it's shade 3 or darker. While this is cutting, this also produces the ultraviolet light, and you do not want to stare right directly at it without some sort of shade lens or protective face shield while it's cutting. And here we go. All right, guys, so that's our final cut, and we're going to take a look at the project here in just a second, and we'll get right back to you. So just hang on. Okay, so it looks like our product has finished cut, so we'll go ahead and take a look at that piece. So here's what we ended up with. So off our measurements, off what we created on the computer in the Torchmate design, is we have our 3 holes, we have our 4 relief cuts, and we went ahead and added in a few decorative little piece 45-degree cuts on either end. So here's our finished product. If we take a look at it, and we're going to go ahead and flip it over to the back side. If you look down really close into here, you can see where our feed rate, our speed for cut, makes a difference on how much material is left on the back side. So we have just a little bit of cleaning left to do on here. Take a grinding wheel to that, and this piece is going to be finished up. We're going to go ahead and we'll do a little bit of a bend on it to bring it up to 90 degrees, so it actually is a bracket for a piece of wood for a gazebo, and we're going to go ahead and do that right now. All right, guys, so here we are doing a little bit of the CNC plasma table cutting and programming. So here's our piece that we started with, blank piece. We went ahead and designed what we were going to cut into there. Went on to our next little section piece here. So here's a partial start, not completely finished. So we have our relief cut lines, our 3 holes, our angle cut pieces that we were working on there. So this kind of shows partway through the process. At the end of it, we have our completed piece right here. So we have our angle cuts on all 4 corners, our 3 holes that are drilled out and set. We're going to put a 8x8 post in here, have everything lagged down and bolted together. So here's our completed piece. Turned out pretty good, and I believe the customer's going to be happy with this product. So I will get a short quiz put together for you guys. Make sure you watch the video, and we'll talk to you later. Have a great week, guys.